Hi everyone. Hey, I have made a few modifications to our clam that I wanted to share with you guys. Some things that I've learned since the last video I did on the clam and give you just a little bit of update there that may help you out. Hello everyone, this is Tigner Adventures. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about our clam that we purchased. We actually have had this just over a year now, and I just wanted to kind of give you an update compared to my last video. I was showing you some of the issues we had from especially having it out in Yuma all winter long, and again, the customer support that Clam gave me was outstanding. And I had some different issues with it, and within that video, you know, if you look right here, you can see the link to that video, or you can go in our description, check that video out on the clam itself. And there was some problems that we had, and I've now come to the conclusion. I thought it was UV related, but I really think that it was the way that I was setting it up and the fact that we had a lot of wind, and the way I was setting it up just caused it to, I really think it was wind damage that actually caused all the issues with this. Clam was good enough to replace that for us, and so now we have this unit here. We have been using this all winter long, and it still looks brand new. And so we've done a few different things. I just want to give you an update on that, and just kind of, you know, show you around a little bit and show you why we do like having our clam. And we're actually going to be using that as a tent this summer as we're traveling around, because part of our trip is heading up to Vancouver Island, and we do not want to pay the $500 fee to take it across on the ferry to Vancouver Island, our RV. And so we're going to be doing just taking the car across with our clam in the car, and we bought a new air mattress and things. So we're going to check that all out and just use it as a tent. So we're pretty excited about that too. So let's go inside and I'll show you the floor system that I'm putting in, just so that you have an idea, you know, what we're doing in that situation. So you can see here that I've got this big tarp. I actually laid this tarp out, and then I set up the clam, and I set it on top of the tarp, went around and measured it so I could see exactly the whole inside diameter of the clam. That made it so that I knew how big I needed to cut it, and then I cut it an extra 10 inches all the way around, which allows it to either fit underneath the clam, you know, under the tabs that's on the clam itself anyway, or I can put Velcro on it and have it go up the sides of the clam. Now, that would mimic what you get if you buy the floor from Clam. However, as of this recording, there are no floors out there. They're about $120 if you can find them. I actually talked to the factory, and they said they are not producing them at this time, and that at some point they'll start the production up again. But right now, whatever's out there is all that's out there. Since then, from the initial phone call with them, I did find a couple people that had them, but by that time I had looked into this tarp idea. I actually picked up this heavy-duty gray tarp from Harbor Freight for like $32. So it's a pretty good size. I mean, it's big enough to do the clam, which the clam is, you know, pretty much about 13-foot circle. It's like, I think it's rated at 12 feet 5 inches. So I just needed to have it big enough on the sides of the tarp to be able to set on top of the tarp. I end up with about 6 feet extra left over that I'm just going to use for covering things, or using it when I'm working on vehicles and things like that. But this tarp looks like it's going to work very well, very heavy duty. We put this up here, and then we put a air mattress on top of it that we purchased, and we checked that out, and I think it's going to work out very well as a for a tent. All right. So then the next thing that I wanted to show you, so we do have that done. That looks really good. Everything's working out well there. So I want to kind of talk about a few things that kind of came off of the video that I had before. One of them was UV protection. Clam themselves said that, you know, their product wasn't intended to stay out in the sun all year long. It was meant to be used here and there or whatever. And if you're going to have it out there in the sun or weather of all kinds, you know, just whether you're in the shade or sun or it's raining all the time or whatever the case may be, you probably should put some type of protectant on it. So based on what we found on the Clam's website, they actually have this protectant right here. And so this is what we actually sprayed onto our tent. And it's actually 2 cups of this to 5 cups of water. And so total of 7 cups. I just used this cheap little sprayer I bought at Harbor Freight for $6. It worked excellent. Nice little pump up sprayer, and it just pumps it up, and then you're able to actually spray the solution onto the tent itself, which is kind of a milky type solution. Now, before you started this application, they also suggest that you clean it. I actually started on the inside first, just spraying with the sides down, but spraying the screens, cleaning all the junk off as best I could from the inside, spraying out. And then we turned around, and I worked with my friend Michael, and he also has one just like it. And so the outside application, he was spraying his outside, and I actually recorded his outside cleaning job, but he cleaned it off really good. By putting that spray on there, it's a UV protection. It actually protects the unit. It actually, when you look at your hand, once you're all done and everything, your hand feels like it's got a film on it. And so that film is what's left onto the tent. It's working really well, and you know, we've had a rainstorm, so if you look right here, you can see it was raining when I actually videotaped this little segments here, and it was repelling the water. Worked out really, really well. One little issue I had was I did have one spot where in one of the little corner sections it had dripped a couple drips of water. It had been raining all night, so I don't think that's too big of a deal. Most tents tend to get a little water here and there, even no matter how hard you try to keep the water out. But I don't really know where that came from, but I think it came from the corners. So anyway, I think that part of it was a very good success, and the tent is holding up great. Now, we have been using this Clam all winter here at Yuma while we've been here. It's been up pretty much all the time. We've taken down just 1 or 2 times. One time we had winds that were supposed to peak at 50 miles an hour. I didn't actually take the Clam down during that time. I actually left it up until it got to be about 40, and it started getting pretty wild out. You know what? You know, why stress it? You know, I might as well just go ahead and take it down. It's really not that difficult to take down or put up, and so I went ahead and popped it down for a few days, and then we put it back up again. But the most of the time, it's been up, and it has just been worn really well. And we have things in there, so we want to keep them dry and things, and that's worked out really well. So I think especially with the extra spray on there, the other thing that I did, just one extra tip, is when we were getting those really high winds, it would you know, blow against the sides quite a bit. So I would actually roll all the sides up, so all that was left was just the screen, and then you had the roof, and that's great as long as it's not blowing rain, right? So anyway, so that worked out really well too. It takes a lot of the stress off the tent. And then if you look right here, you can see that I am staking this down a little bit differently. I found Clam actually sent me a link to a new video they've put out, and I don't know if it's coming out with their instruction book yet, their old instruction book. The link they had for a video that explained how it all worked did not work. So this video link, I'll go ahead and put that in our description. This does work, and it gives some quick little pointers on how to put things up. And they actually say to anchor off the center pieces of each one of these hexagon sides, that you actually anchor that to the ground, and that helps to hold the Clam down. Now, in our particular case, I'm about 2 feet out, and I anchored that down there. I pulled those nice and tight with their little ropes, and this has worked excellent. I've done my staking a little different than they did in their video. They staked inside, around the inside of the tent. I actually pulled those tabs out and just kind of pulled the tent out all the way around to make it nice and tight, and I nailed that down that way. I'm just using the 12-inch nails. I just nail it all down. It has held very, very well. We've only had the roof collapse once or twice. during those big rainstorms, and we just, I guess it wasn't really raining, it was just windy, and I just walked back out and just popped it back up, and life was good, no big deals. The other thing I wanted to kind of mention here is this little tab here. This is how I originally anchored mine down, and these actually got ripped out and things like that. So that was definitely not the way to do it. But you know, they didn't really give any instructions initially, so it was everybody's say-so as to how to do it. And so I got a lot of bad information. So this is not where you want to anchor that down. This is actually meant for a cover that you can put on top of the clam, just an extra rain cover to help keep it dry if you're in a place that has real heavy rain. And this is what the cord actually connects to up at the top. You know, when the cover comes over, it snaps onto this. So that's really what that's used for. And so the main things that we're actually anchoring to, you know, side panels here going down, this is what the rope that was provided was meant to do. So this has worked out very well. I took off the little clam things they have in there that you can pop it out with, just because I didn't want them sitting out in the sun all the time. But if you look at this, you can see that, you know, this thing still looks brand new, and it has been up all winter, just doing a fabulous job. So overall, I have to say that I have been very, very happy with the clam, and it's been a great addition to our items that we use with the rig. So it's definitely one of those that I would definitely invest in, especially if you're out in areas that you want to keep the bugs away. Because if you look right here, it has got this no-see-um screen on here that keeps the bugs out, including the no-see-ums. And so that's really important, especially if you are in an area where the no-see-ums are out. No-see-ums are those little guys that, if they land on you long enough, then you might see them, but they're pretty tiny little guys, and they like to, especially with the individuals that happen to have hair. I don't, but you know, if you have a hat on or long hair, they like to crawl up into the hair and everything, and then they sit there and just bite you like crazy, and then you get tons of little itchy bites on your head that last for a week or so. And by using the clam with this screen here, you eliminate having that issue. So that works out pretty nice. So that's definitely one advantage to having the clam, especially if you're in those types of areas. You're sitting in the forest, you just want to enjoy. I mean, just rolling up the sides of the clam and enjoying just having a screened room, that's all it is, works absolutely fabulous. Hi there, girl, what's up? Huh? You just waking up from a nap? Did I wake you up? Oh, you like it in here, don't you? Just sitting back, relaxing. Tansy loves her little catio, but she, in the afternoons, gets a little noisy outside, so she just comes in here and just sits and doesn't do much, do ya? Ninette is out setting up all our lights and everything. This is our end of season event tonight here in Yuma at the Sundance RV Resort. And so we are just getting prepared for that. And just to give you an update, tomorrow morning, sometime tomorrow morning, don't know exactly when, Ninette kind of wants to play pickleball before we take off, but we are now headed over to Tucson for the Escapees Escapade. And we will be there for this next week, so we'll be doing a little video on that. Oh look, she actually just showed up. So hi. So lights all set up?
Yes, no more glare on the giraffe. He was having a problem.
This is her nice setup and everything, so you can see what she's going to be dealing with tonight. You know, when she does her photography, this has become like the main event of the shows. They have
Everybody
dancing and everything, but
I mean, this is jungle, so it's going to be fun. Somebody's going to be Tarzan and Jane.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see how it all works out. So
it will be fun.
It will. And so this is our last big hurrah, but we're heading out on the road to Tucson. We will then come back here for about a week and a half to finish up our work camp duties. And then once that's done, then we will be on the road for the rest of the summer. So stay tuned. We're trying to get some of the things finalized on that. So always remember, you can go to our website, tigneradventures.com, and up in the top right corner there's a little green circle. It says our map or something like that. She says I need to change the wording on that a little bit so people really know what that is, but that's our travel
Our
map.
route,
Yeah.
something.
So you
Map.
can see
Just
where
says
we're at
map.
all the time, and then that way you can reach out to if you need to. We've changed our contact page. We kind of ran into some issues with the contact thing that we were using. Someone started scamming us on that, so that was a pain. So it just shows our email address. So click on that. You can send emails to us anytime and reach out to us,
He
and we'll
actually
be
looks
glad
at
to do
his
that.
emails.
I do, yeah. She's got like 1,300 unread messages right now, so.
I erased 5 yesterday.
All right, good deal, good deal. Well, hey, thanks for following us. Hope to see you down the road somewhere, and if not, we'll be on our next video, so take care.
Bye.